Good morning everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel. So I want to say a massive thank you to Team Sarah who allowed me to do this video. So I did ask permission. Just because Sarah is a big YouTuber herself, I didn't want to tread on anybody's toes. Anyway, I did promise, there was a lot of you that said that you'd love to see a page done in Vibrant Wild, Sarah's book. So we're going to do that. Now, if you remember, I got the lovely Kevin sent me the acrylic gouache paints, and don't panic if you don't have these. It doesn't matter, you'll be able to do this, trust me. And he also sent me the Montmartre acrylic paints. Now I know they're different paints, but one is acrylic gouache, which is permanent, and one is acrylic, which is also permanent. So what I did do was swatch them so that we could have a look. So all the big ones are the Montmartre colours, and all the little ones, because I'm stingy and tight, are the Holbein ones. And then the little patches you can see is me testing pencil over it to see how they respond. So the major ones are Prismacolor, but I did also test the Holbeins, the Polychromos out, because I just wanted to see how they would respond over the paint, and they do really well. So some, you have to be careful, because some acrylic paint, if it's silky or satin, you can't colour over it, but the Montmartre semi-matte and acrylic gouache apparently is quite matte. So these were just a tiny drop on the page, and then I blended it with a damp paintbrush. So we'll see how we go, but please don't worry if you don't have them. It's not gonna, you're not gonna not be able to follow. So the page I selected was this one, because it's got a lot of open space that we can play with the background with. And I have a colour palette that I want to follow, which obviously with fuchsias is really beautiful. So I want a sort of cream background. So I'm going to try putting in, excuse me, some ivory white. And I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow and white to make that even softer. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go in, let's do the yellow. So it's just a normal yellow. So if you have acrylic paints, get a yellow. And these also come with a white. They come in these big tubes. So I'm going to do that first. We don't need an awful lot, and I am the world's worst at mixing too much. So I'm going to try to behave. Paints are precious. Okay, well let's just try that, and then we'll mix it with some white as well. These come with the protective silver cover on. So we'll peel that off. I didn't swatch the white, but this is titanium white. So should be pretty good. I can close my little lids back up and put those to one side, and I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to wet that and mix it in, so we get a bit of a wet mix, and we've got a very beautiful pastel yellow colour. So here we go. Oh, scary. Alright. So I might need a smaller brush, but I'm going to try and put it in and smooth it over. Like this. And just want patches of it. It goes a long way, particularly when you've watered it down. So I'm going to try this page and then see if we can sort of unify them out. A bit more water. And I'm going to put some bristle. I'm going to put some down here, and then I'm going to use pencil as well with this background. So I'm going to put these patches in of different colours and see how it turns out. I know it's a bit scary, but this paper is absolutely divine. So, and I'm not saturating it. Okay, so now I want that Holbein ivory white. So here, yeah, ivory white. Now, I'm going to be tight with it. There we go. These are obviously a much smaller tube, but then they are Holbein. So, yeah, I do appreciate them. So I'm going to put in on a watery brush. You could also put a few drops of water on the paint and do it that way. But I just want to sort of mix it in different colours. So I'm just going to dab it in like this. Doesn't matter that I've got a bit on that leaf because you can, as you've seen, colour over it. I've been so excited to colour in this book. I was going to do the other day, but then slipped off the ladder while I'm doing this flipping decorating still and jarred my neck. So that wasn't fun. It's all better now. So we just get that sort of lovely peachy colour. It's sort of a peachy, like that. And then I want some kind of, I want some greens in there, but I'm wondering if we should do that with pencil because these sets don't have the green in it that I want, and I don't want to throw a load of different colour paints at you because I've said you'll be able to follow this. And this will give us a good indication as to whether the paper responds or not. But what I do want to do is just try the Holbein. I was going to do the pale pink and just put it on a few of these bits of fuchsia. So let's get the pale pink. Aren't they gorgeous? I don't like using them, they're so beautiful. I don't want to get them out and ruin them. Pale pink. Okay, so I want a tiny, tiny bit. Look at that, it's so beautiful. And then I'm going to mix that with a little bit of this acrylic white. I know they're two separate things before anybody tells me. But one is acrylic gouache and one is acrylic, just acrylic paint. So it doesn't matter. See what I mean? Way too much. Way, way, way too much. But what, boy, we've got a beautiful pink. Look at that. Okay, let's do this big one. We'll see how that turns out. So I have got an illustrated picture in front of me of some fuchsias, and I'm going to put it in here. And this is just an undercoat. I will be colouring over it. Let's put a little bit in here. It doesn't matter if it goes over the lines. That's the beauty of these. If you have a very steady hand, you could take out the lines with a very fine paintbrush. And I'm going to put some in here. Try not to put my hand in it all. Yeah, it was a lovely gift from Kevin. I do appreciate it. And I've been itching to get them out and crack on with them. So, thank you, Kevin. Put a little bit in there, maybe a little bit in there. Okay, so this is just a tester for me to see how they go. So I'm going to let all that dry. I was going to use a green, but I quite like the chartreuse, but I'm going to leave it at that because I want you to be able to follow along if you want to. So I'm going to let all that dry, and then I'm going to come back. I think I'm going to come back, yeah, I'm going to come back and do pencil work, do the background, and then I'll do this page as we go along too, so that it's not, so it's uniform, you can get to see it. Same colours, and yeah, we'll be back up in a second. Okay, so this is bone dry, and it has to be bone dry before you can colour over it. So I did this really, it takes the fear away from the page for me. I want to test out being able to base things with these paints because they're so pretty. I've got a handful of colours here to do this background. Don't be afraid of the amount of colours. We're just going to mix and match them in. So I've got marine green, I've got celadon, I've got sap green, pale sage, jade, and a little bit of rosy beige. So I'm going to make the top of these leaves dark, around the top darker, and bring colour down at the bottom, I think. So just because the picture I'm looking at is so beautiful and it seems to work. So anyway, let's try coming in here with our marine green I've got in my hand. I don't know if I mentioned that, but we're going to come in. These are Prismacolors, by the way. I will do another colour with me if you want, and I can do some polychromos or something else if you want in here. I have promised to colour in Hannah Carlson's Merry Christmas, so I will do that. So I'm going to put some deep greens in here, all this deep green in, and I like to pick out certain areas like where the leaves meet, so we can make that brighter, and then the leaves stand out a bit more. Like this. And we'll be able to adjust this, providing you're not smashing down on the paper really hard. We'll be able to adjust these colours, adjust how much you put on and what not. Okay. A bit more up here. Okay. I'm going to slot in some rosy beige. Now, you have to be careful when you're mixing greens and pinks, but I think this will work well with our yellow background, which I'm now colouring over, and the soon-to-be fuchsias. So I'm going to put the rosy beige around these. Just gives us a grey pink before we come in with the shock of the brighter colours. Can you see everything? Yes. Okay. So I'm just making it up as I go along, throwing some colouring until it looks right and I've filled up the background. Let's have some down here. So I'm just mapping colours out at the moment, so it's going to look awful, and it's going to have to go through the what I call the ugly stage. So I'm going to come in now with a little bit of sap green. The ultimate idea will be to blend in these colours into this beautiful background, so this beautiful yellow colours that we've put down. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? If I mess it up, I can get an acrylic paint pen out or acrylic paint and start again. It doesn't matter. We'll bring a little bit of this out. A little bit of this in here. Now none of this is blended yet. I'm going to have to go back in and do a lot of blending and playing about with this to get it smooth, but it will work in the end, she says. This paper is beautiful. And it feels quite smooth, but there is a lot of tooth. So it's gripping the pencil beautifully. I bet polychromos will work like a charm on these. And this book, and the other pencil that I'm thinking would be the Chroma Flows. I bet they'd be amazing in here. And their colours. But I wanted to go with Prismas because they're soft, and I wanted to just check how they would respond in here, first of all. And then secondly, how they would go over, how easy it is to colour over those paints. Because I know a lot of you are interested in being able to put a base coat down. Now you could make them less opaque by adding more water, so they respond more like a watercolour. So we could go over things like leaves and that, and you won't lose your design. Okay, a little bit more, just slot a bit more in here, and then we're going to start to get a bit brighter with things. Might have a bit more marine green here, in that little gap. And obviously I'm going to have to come back over things, but a little bit up here. Okay, come back in with that sap green. Bring that over that marine green. Okay. Now please don't think by any means that this is finished. It's not. So I'm going to come in now with the jade, which is a much bluer colour, but still sort of the grey tones, which will hopefully play really nicely with that when we get to blending in that yellow, the yellow and the ivory we put in, and give us this sort of lovely blurry soft background. Blending that around. Okay, got some here. Let's join that pink, those pinks up. This might be quite a long process, but I hope you don't mind following along with me. See, just that little bit of pink in there, I think looks really sweet, really sort of, we might need to even put more in, we'll see. Bit of jade round here. Like that. Bring it out here. Okay, let's go into our next colour, which, let's try a little bit of the pale sage. What was that? Yeah, pale sage. Let's try a little bit of that, which has got a much more yellowy tone. I just want to start to sort of try and blur this out a bit. Obviously it's all going to need to be blended and smoothed, and we are going to bring in some other colours. I find it easier if we stick with the same colour family to start with and then start bringing in other colours. Okay, because I am going to bring some brighter colours in down here. And by mixing and blending with this, sorry, what is it, pale sage, we get all those colours soften out and sort of blur, which is what I wanted. This blurriness. And it just really brings out each of those different colours. You can see the blue and the dark from the marine green, and very, very pretty. Like this. Out down here. And then, so we have to keep blending, but let's see what other colours I can throw in there now. I want a little bit more of the pink. I really like this rosy beige in here, so I'm going to put that in. And I'm not gonna blend to the point of oh gosh, what's the word? Burnishing. There's the word. I'm not going to blend to the point of burnishing, because around this part in particular I want to add another colour, but until I've got my fuchsia colours sorted out, I don't know what that will be. Yeah, so just that little bit of pink. I don't think we need to add a load to it. I just think it really helps sort of blur everything out. Okay, back to that pale sage. Poor pale sage, it does all the hard work for me. So I was going to say earlier, be careful when you mix green and pink, because you can get make it look very grey, but in this instance that's going to work anyway. So I think before I finish this background I need to sort out the colours for the leaves and for the fuchsias, and then we can throw different colours, because we've got to bring this down. We can throw different colours at this background and it will be beautiful, trust me. So all this will be softened off and blurred out, and it will just be very pretty and soft. And I don't want to add too many colours to this. Okay, the other one we can throw in is some cream. That will be perfect with this background. Let's throw in some cream. Gosh, we've got a lot of colours. And then if I feel like I might have come down too far around here, but I don't know until we've done our flowers. We can add white. Let's get a white and see what happens. Yeah, okay. So it tones it down and it does work over it really nicely. I don't know if you can see that, but we can use white to blend as well, so we get some softer areas. But what I say is, before I add in the rest of the colours that I want to put on this background, I think we should look at the leaves and the flowers. So I'm going to go away and get all the colours for the leaves. That will help then for me to be able to finish the background. I don't want to throw a load of colour at it and then regret it because I've put too much on. This is the marine green, and I can't make it all blend and work together. But okay, let me go and get the leaf colours. Right, so I went off and got some contrasting greens that would really pop against this background and make this background really soft and subtle. This is what I was going for. So I've got 90% cool grey, dark green, Kelly green, a little bit, we're going to use a little bit of true green, and a little bit of grey green light, and we just seem to get this really lovely contrast. And it's not hard, it's not a tricky thing to do. So I'm going to pick one side of this leaf and come around with my 90% cool grey, and then bring that out a little bit, just softly, because you want to go over this with your green, so don't mash it into the paper, just lightly. And then because we've done that edge, I'm going to come up the middle of this one, and then I'm going to pull that grey out here. A little bit more at the base there, like that. Okay, so everywhere we've put that 90% grey, I'm going to go over it and pull out the dark green. So I go over it and then I pull it out until we can see that dark green colour emerge by itself. There it is, very blue-green. Like that. Just sort of round it off a little bit. So what happens is we just make that dark green look really, really dark, and I love it. That sort of really rich, no mistaking green. I think it's gorgeous. There we go. And then if we come in then with some Kelly green, go over that line from the dark green, bring in the Kelly green, and then just softly bring it out so we've got a little bit of space, a slither of space there, so we can put some light green and the grey green light in, like that. Okay, so let's come in with some light green, and I know that's a bit scary because it's very bright, but it just gives that boost when you put the grey green light with it. Like this, of a little bit of contrast of light playing about, you know, just gives a bit of interest, I think. Anyway, I'm just going back with my dark green and just, my eyesight is terrible, so I have trouble going right up to lines. It makes my eyes go funny and then I get like double vision. So we're going to have this this very rich, and as we are with the fuchsias, they're going to be very bright, very rich dark green leaves like this, and I'm just softly bringing out that dark green, making sure all that grey's gone, and then Kelly green, And they're a really good colour, really good combination to blend with. They just want to do it by themselves. They like playing alongside each other, and it's sort of effortless blending really. They just do it for you. And a little bit of that light green just really boosts that light that I'm trying to play with. And that's it. Simple as that. It's not hard, but they do look effective, and they will. They've already, the background has been knocked right back, which is exactly what I wanted, this soft background and then this dramatic shift in colour. So I'm now going to go off and get all the colours that we need for our fuchsias, and we're going to do the fuchsia flowers, and yeah, I'll do the leaves off camera, and then I'll come back and do the fuchsia leaves with you, and then we can finish playing about with our background until we get those colours how I want them, because I don't think we need to add too much more. I just want to play about with the colours that we've got. Alright, so I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I've caught us up and I've got some colours ready for our fuchsias. And I've added an extra colour over here. So I've just done what we did over here, but I've added an extra colour, which is just a little bit of muted turquoise. So I'll bring you in and we can focus over here. And if we add a little bit of this muted turquoise to put some blue in there, it blends really well with the greens we've put in. Oh no, I added the celadon as well. So this paper is incredible. You just literally touch it with the Prismas and there's the colours there. If you really want to test out what your Prismas are meant to work like, this is the paper to do it with. And I had a lot of fun doing the Maria Troll page on Patreon with my Prismas. Oh, it was just, I don't know, I just really enjoyed doing it. I'm hoping our next members book will be a Maria Troll. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this muted turquoise in. Helps to brighten it up a little bit. And we're going to have to pull it down around our flowers too. Okay, so I've got the same colours, but I took a little bit of celadon, which is also a sort of bluey greeny grey, and went over the marine green into that next colour that we'd already put down. So I know there's a lot of colours, but it's just switching backwards and forwards. Maybe I should have focused on little sections, is what I normally do at a time. But and then you come over it with that like this. Yeah, maybe we should have just done a little section at a time. Bit of celadon, not too much because it's pretty dark. Let's bring in the sap green. Oh, I lied, 3 new pencils. I do apologise, sorry, I brought in grey green light as well. So a bit of sap green. Can you see just how responsive they are? Okay, I want a little bit more rosy beige around this fuchsia flower rather. Let's bring in a bit more rosy beige here. And I'm going to bring some in more around here. And like I say, I know it looks horrendous, but we've got to blend it all through yet. So the new colours I brought in were muted turquoise. I'm still going to keep going, I just want to recap. Muted turquoise, grey green light, Celadon. I had said Celadon initially, but I didn't put it in. So I was blending out the marine green with the Celadon. Helps to pull that right in when we chuck in some turquoise, muted turquoise. Like that. And even when you go over the pink, it still looks like a beautiful colour when you, with that Celadon. Okay, and then to blend through, let's go some more of the sap green. It's lovely and yellowy. My hands automatically go to colouring with members pages are Romantic Country, as you probably know, you follow me, and the paper in there is not like this, so I'm having to relearn to colour softly. Okay, so then the grey green light, and we're going to pull that in. And coming back into that lovely yellow and ivory that we put down. This is why I said earlier, if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. Okay, I want the pale sage. Back to that grey green light. So I'm just sort of mixing up those colours until they're blended and they go together. Then I need the cream. Where's the cream? Oh, don't do this to me, Prismas. I was behaving. Aha, it's trying to hide. And then the cream blend over it also brightens everything up into this edge. Like that. And then white. It will pull that cream out and soften our edge out. And you can use it to help blend as well. Like that. I want to bring some muted turquoise down over here. It might look like I'm being heavy-handed, but I promise you I'm not. Look how dark that turquoise looks until we, I'm going to come out a little bit because I keep losing you, until we blend it out. So just patches of colour, muted turquoise. Right, let's come in with a little bit of the Celadon. Much grayer. Neighbours are in the garden. I'm sorry if you can hear them in the background chattering. See? Ugly stage. We'll put a little bit of muted turquoise. Let's put some around here. It takes a long time, folks, which is why I'm trying to just sort of map it out with you so you can see where I'm doing it. And Bit of muted turquoise, back to the Celadon. And let's extend this Celadon. Let's bring it out here. With a little bit of the muted turquoise. Lovely colouring, Miss Lucy. Very, very nice. Okay, and then sap green. I'm just trying to bridge this gap between the two. Like I say, I know it looks hideous at the moment, but a bit of soft, gentle blending. Okay, right, there's that. Let's put in the sap green then and start blending those colours. Like this. And here. Sorry, it takes a long time. I don't know how much to do with you with it, you know, without it being real time and it going on for 4 days while I put this together, you know. It does take a long time. But I've mapped out the colours so you pretty much see where I'm going with them. Like this, we'll bring that out there. And then grey green light, yeah, grey green light, and it will all smooth out like this when I keep going. So and then I will take my time and do it off camera, but I'm just trying to map the colours out so you can see where I'm going. This is the cream, which will blend into those beautiful paint colours that we put down. I haven't done it there, so. Like that. And then I will bring down the pale sage into that cream, softly bring that out until it all blends pale sage, then cream, then white down at the bottom here. And then you can just dot in the colours wherever you want them. So I have mapped it out so you can see where I've done the colours. Colours are on the screen, so I don't need to worry about that. And then, so all I need to do now is just keep blending it. So I'm going to bring some more blue over this side, so the muted turquoise over here. Like this, up here. Definitely here, I've got a big gap here, so I'll bring some up over here, around this leaf maybe. A little bit of blue here. Around here. Here. Now, nobody have a go at me about covering up a lot of the paint, because firstly, it makes a really good base to colour on. Secondly, it does change the tone slightly of what you're laying over the top of it. Thirdly, it makes it easier. Fourth, we've got this lovely soft edge that we've used for the paints. And fifth, if you change your mind and you're using acrylics, you can colour over it and it doesn't matter, unless it's too dark obviously, but there we go. Alright, so my hope is a lovely soft wispy look like that with the pinks, and where I can I will try and blend the cream and that celadon. Where's celadon? Yeah, the cream and the celadon into that pink. Like that. Going over that marine green with the celadon as well. Back to the muted turquoise. Now I don't want that, but you might, I don't want that muted turquoise to take over, so at that point a little bit of muted turquoise back in then with the a little bit of the sap green, and then a lot of pale sage. Where is pale sage? What have I done with it? There it is. It keeps hiding under my book. Pale sage. Grey green light. And that's it. When you get to that point, that grey green light and the pale sage really sort of clouds this over, giving us that sort of soft misty look. I'm going for. You can also use a blender obviously. You get a blender pencil here. Use a Prisma blender. It's just a colourless blender. And it will do the same thing, but it won't lighten it like using the different colours will. In fact, a lot of the time I find if you use the colourless blender, it darkens it, because once it presses it into the tooth of the paper. Whereas if you use a white or a lighter colour, it will soften all that out. Like that. Where's the cream? There's the cream. And some white. I'm going to put a little bit of the grey-green light in here. And soften off that clay rose, rosy beige there. Yeah, rosy beige. Like that. White. There you go. And if you just keep going, you will end up with a lovely soft blend of those colours. Okay, so I'm going to undertake the mammoth task, you can see how long it takes, of blending all this out. I hope that little bit of mapping that I've done really helps you, but you've got the colour combinations, they all work together. You can just play about with it until you're happy. You know, just keep throwing it in there. The important pencils I found are the cream, the grey-green light and the pale sage, which help to blend those other colours. So go and have fun with it and don't be scared of it. And then I'm going to finish that and then I'm going to come back and we're going to do our fuchsias. I have got the colours, but so I will see you shortly. Okay, I've done the background and then I got all happy and took my eraser and put a couple of little, I don't know, just some little magical sparkles in the background. Like that. I don't know, just I thought it would be cute. Anyway, I've got a whole fistful of pinks and purples here for our fuchsias. Couldn't get the word out. Nothing new there then. Let me get that white because no doubt I'm going to need it. Okay, so I've got some very darks. I've got black grape, mulberry, what's that? Black raspberry, processed red, pink, lavender, light peach and pink rose. So quite an array. So I'm going to make these bits softer at the top and then darker on this bit. So shall we do that first? I'm going to come in with a light peach and I am going to put, I know we've already got that, my eyes have gone funny, we've already put that paint on there, but I'm going to put light peach on. They do paint over beautifully, so I'm really glad that I experimented, and Sarah's book is perfect to do that in. Because the paper is just outstanding. I mean, I've layered and layered and layered that this paper, and it's just, it would still take more if I wanted it to. Okay, so I've got a little bit of light peach. I'm going to come in with the pink rose now, and I'm going to put some little details in. So just some little nothing spectacular, just a few little streaks of lines, and then some pink. I'm going to put some pink in. Like this. Make that a bit darker there. A bit more peach. Oops. Just trying to bring those round in the shape that we've got. And then that beautiful blush pink. Just soften out those lines. And after that background, I mean, you don't have to do the background, you could always do it in pastel if you wanted to, but after that background we need something a little simpler. So then I'm going to take, I've got, these are from the Pastel Tule art set. I'm going to take number 16 and number 19, and I'm going to take a white Posca. So I'm going to come round this part with number 19. If it's going to work, is it going to work for me? Yeah, here we go. Just be careful because it comes out quite fast sometimes, this one. No, it's not playing ball. There we go. Okay. And then, so I'm going to do it on this one too. It's not behaving. It might be the amount of wax that I've got on the page because it's working on this random piece of paper over here. And I have put a lot of wax down. Yeah, I think it's the amount of wax I've got on my page. Can you see what I'm doing? Well, you can if I move my hand. Okay. And then for the underside, I've got the number 16, which is much darker, sort of peachy pink. Under here. Like this. And then I'm just going to put a few strokes in our lightest bits of white. Like that. Okay. Alright, that's the top bit done for now. And then we've got this bottom bit, which is much pinker, much darker. So I'm going to come in with pink. Let's do this middle section first. I find it easier if you're going to do something underneath. So I'm going to put the pink in. Okay, pink. And then I want to put some lavender in. Oh gosh, this paper is absolutely a dream. Oh, it really is. I'm not just saying that, folks. I mean, I paid for this book. Nobody sent it to me. I purchased it because I loved it. There, a little bit of lavender. But honestly, it's so receptive to the pencils. This is process. So I'm just going to flick in different colours until, oops, we get this sort of random fuchsia-y colours going on. Okay, now I want some dark. So I'm going to bring in, I don't know if we need all of these, but I think I'm going to bring in, some mulberry. Let's try that. Sorry, I sharpened them before I came on camera, and it's a new pencil sharpener that I was so kindly gifted, and I forget, and I keep, you know, you have that sort of muscle memory, and I keep turning it too much. Right, I want one of these. Which one am I going to use? I think I'm going to go in with the black grape because it's darker, and we're going to put, oh yeah, that's a good choice, and we're going to put that in. So I'm going to do away with the black raspberry for now, and we'll just streak some of that in. Okay, beautiful. Alright, let's do the same then. So that was relatively pain-free, yes? So, pink. I'll keep this a bit lighter up here. And then what do we do? Lavender. Then we did processed red. And by doing this, what we're doing is letting each of these colours show through, and then we don't just get that flat mix of colour. Although I do like doing flat mix of colour, I love it. That's my sort of standard colouring, but this is, you know, this is a very special book. And then we put in mulberry. I can't get over the price of it. That it was only £15 with delivery. Isn't that incredible? And then our very dark, what is this? Black grape. Yeah. And then I'm going to take a tiny bit of white, and it will go pink, so because these colours are notorious, so that's good, but it will go out like a much lighter, brighter pink, and just put some little strokes in. It'll help it to make it sort of look rounded like the bulbs on them are. And then the same with that last one. And then we're going to do very, very similar with the little buds, pink. Lavender rather, sorry. Lavender, processed red, mulberry, and black grape. And then we're going to have some just some white streaks in there, and already that's going pink, if you can see that, but it will just give us, hopefully give us that sort of rounded look. And then with the black grape we can take out any dark lines and just feather that in. There. It's really simple. So for the top part we used pink, pink rose and light peach, and the two paint pens. And for this one we used pink, lavender, processed red, mulberry and black grape. I need to let that dry a bit more, or maybe not. There we go. Okay, so that's that, and then we need to have a look at doing the little stems. So I got dark green, lime peel and true green. So I'm going to put true green here, all the way up to the branch, just lightly. And then we're going to put in the lime peel. And then the dark green. Oh my gosh, it's paper. Honestly, when you colour just softly with it, it's magical. Okay. Add a little bit more lime peel here. And then I am going to take number 6 from the pastel set, which is called Yoda. And I'm going to take out the black lines. I'll come back over that bit when it's dry, like that. Let it dry and then I'll come back over it. I'll show you with dark green. Okay, so lime peel, super simple, and then all we've got left is the branches and the little stem bits. Lime peel, we've done that, and then the dark green. So next week, I think we are, well, I've promised that I will. We're going to do a colouring in Hannah Carlson's book because most people have only just received it. So it was really difficult to get hold of. We're going to do a colouring in Hannah Carlson's Merry Christmas because there are pages that aren't Christmassy, but I promised that I would. So are you all happy to see a page in a Christmas book, or would you, is that going to make you want to kill me? The C word, the swear word, because it's so too soon. Right, is that dry enough? Yeah. Okay, so I'm coming over that with the dark green. If you do it lightly over the 2 leaves, you can take it out. There we go. We can tone it down a bit, and it gives us a nice. Like that. Is that dry? I don't want to do it too soon. Lime peel. And then I'll put the dark green. Edge. Like that. Pretty cool. It's going to be really pretty when it's done, isn't it? So, I don't think there's anything else. I think that's it. We can do another one over here if we want quickly. Let's do this one. Let's do this big floppy one over here. Okay, so we're going to take our soft pinks first. We're going to take the pink and I'm going to follow the shape round. Hopefully this one's nice and clear. I hope the other one was nice and clear, but we're just going to sort of follow the shape round. This has got paint on it as well. But like I say, a lot of the time, well, the reason why I didn't do more paint on here was because I know people would want to follow and I didn't know if they could, and I was experimenting. So I am very happy to report, Kevin, that they are beautiful, and because I can colour over them, it makes them even better. Beautiful, beautiful paints. Beautiful, beautiful book. Put those in like that. And then, oh, I tell you what, I'd put peach in, hadn't I, first? So let's put the light peach in. Oh, it's just like a dream to colour on. Honestly, it's beautiful. And I'm not, like I say, I'm not just saying that. Okay, and pink rose. Come back in with a bit more pink under here. And there. Okay. Then we take the tulies, the two tulies. Let's hope I can get them working without any fuss. There we go. The top with number 19. Yeah, it's struggling with the amount of wax I think that I've put on it, and that's the problem. Doesn't like it. Okay, number 19. And then, oops. And then number 16 for the underside. Like that. And then the white that's hiding, here it is. And we'll streak. We can put a bit of white in. Come on, Posca. This is probably the dead one. It started out so well. Okay, like that. Alright. And then we're going to come in, reuse the pink. Let's do this one. Okay, reuse the pink. Look at that, I'm barely touching with the pencil. Okay, lavender. Processed red. Mulberry. And then the black grape. I think that really makes it that black grape. I think that really sort of changes the whole dynamic of the colours that we'd already put down. I love it. There you go. And I'm going to come back in with a little bit of processed red. Just deepen that up. And then we'll put some white in, if it'll work for me. Okay, and that is it. So I am going to go and colour all our fuchsia flowers exactly the same as we've just done here, and then we'll meet back up and all we've got is the little branches to do and we'll be done. Alright, I'll see you shortly. Okay folks, I went ahead and did the branches exactly the same as we'd done those, and we've now just got finishing touches. So I've got a Jelly Roll Moonlight. This is, excuse the painted hands, none of my pens were working. This is the number if you want it. I don't know which number you use, but there, it's like a plum colour, and I'm just going to do that for the stems. Like that. Super simple. Let's keep it simple. I've complicated things enough. Paint and pens that don't work. Just fill these in. I might as well do it with you. That's the page behind butterflies. Keep scribbling my pen off to get it to work. And that's a true testament to this paper. That's how much pencil I've put on that background. Okay. And then I took the Tuliart pastel pen, number 14, and then just coloured those in. Like that, and then when it was dry I put a tiny bit of white. The only thing I could get to work was my Languo gel pen, so it looked like that, so just a little bit of white, and brush off my page because I've made a whole holy mess. And I was going to put some glitter on it, but I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe I should just step away while the going's good, you know. I've spent hours faffing and getting cross with it because I couldn't get any of my, not with it, but couldn't get any of my pens to work. So it was driving me insane. Okay, and then so just here, I'm just going to put a tiny little white highlight. Thank goodness for the Languo pens, eh? Little white highlight on those little bits down here, and I don't know if they're dry enough. Okay, and I haven't done my green edging on some of those, look. I need my Yoda pen. Where is it? Yoda. Here. So, just going to take the edging out. So it really does brighten it up, I think. Putting that little bit of green in there, that Yoda. And then I promise I'll step away. For heaven's sake. And we're done. So let me know what you think about doing a page in Hannah's book. I'm desperate to. It's been a long time since we've got it out, and there are pages in there that aren't necessarily Christmassy, so we can do that. Yeah, I like the Yoda on here. Lovely yellow green colour. Just boosts that brightness. Yeah. Well, I'm very, very impressed. I have to say the book is outstanding. It's just a delight to colour in. What I'd like to do is just do a whole page in pencil, because it is just such a pleasant experience to work in it. And it's not very often you come across those books. We have to use all sorts of different mediums to make life easy for ourselves usually, don't we? And I think I'm finished. Yep, I think so. I think it's time to step away. So there we go. A page in this beautiful, beautiful book. Thank you, Team Sarah, for allowing me to do a colour with me in it. They've asked me to send a link over, so I will do. Yeah, so thank you for spending your afternoon with me and joining in. If you join in, please post it and tag me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, basically. I'm here. Alright, my lovely friends, thank you for joining me. So until we meet again, whenever that may be next, take really good care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Bye.